Hey there, welcome to the KTLA 5 News at 7. Good morning, I'm Frank Buckley.
And good morning, I'm Jessica Holmes. Happening now, an overnight raid on a busy street in Hollywood, where officers are searching a building and questioning dozens of people.
In Orange County, a deadly end to a pursuit while deputies were going after a car moments before it slammed into a tree.
Plus, Hurricane Florence barreling towards the Carolinas and prompting a highway reversal for hundreds of thousands of evacuees.
And is it brilliant or just lazy? The retailer offering fresh Christmas trees online. First, let's get a check of the traffic with Ginger.
Or genius. Maybe that, huh? Good morning, everybody. We have a lot happening, and we're going to update you about the situation on the 210, but the very fluid and active situation that continues for the drive on the 10 freeway in Montclair. That's where we find Mark Kono in Sky 5 HD. Mark.
Yes, indeed, Ginger. You have been reporting about this for about an hour at this point here. During about 6 o'clock, we understand a shooting took place here in Montclair. Now, where we are looking at here is the off-ramp on the eastbound side of the 10, right there at Central. If you see that black sedan up at the top center of the screen, look at the windshield there over on the passenger side. That looks to have sustained some damage, possibly from gunshots, and there are also some evidence markers surrounding that car as well. That's going to be the off-ramp, eastbound side of the 10 freeway, right through Montclair at Central Avenue here. Now, for what it's worth, the on and off ramps are both shut down, as is northbound Central Avenue from Palo Verde as you approach the 10 East. So that is all going to be a very fluid situation, as you mentioned, Ginger. The eastbound side of the 10, all main lines are open at this point, but the off and on ramps do remain shut down. Ginger.
Monte Vista, Indian Hill Boulevard, you do have some ways around it, and at least the main lines, what we are hearing, the main lines will remain open, but as we said, a fluid situation, they may have to shut them down, but for now, just those ramps. Thank you, Mark, for that. And as he was heading here, he actually spotted this crash that we've been talking about on the 210 freeway, the eastbound side at Irwindale Avenue. So at least one flatbed tow truck is now on scene. That will help, but you can still see one vehicle in the carpool lane. So we've got carpool left lanes blocked. There's some fluid on the roadway as well. And when Mark looked at it, he said the backup and the delays for you all the way from the 605 freeway. Even when they clear it, that will still be a bit of a slow ride. We'll watch all of these things, as well as, of course, Hurricane Florence and our local weather. We'll send it over to you, Mark Kriske.
All right. Boy, it's going to be a busy week remaining as far as weather goes on the East Coast. The Carolinas are going to get hit, and they are going to get hit hard. And here locally, we're looking at temperatures today, probably the coolest day of the week, and then after that, a gradual warm up as we head into the weekend. Forecast highs for this afternoon: 74 at the beaches, downtown Los Angeles 80, that's 4 degrees below normal. San Fernando Valley with a daytime high of only 88 degrees, loving that. High deserts 91, 89 inland Empire, Orange County inland 82 degrees. Full details coming up in a moment. Jessica, back to you.
We are following breaking news in Hollywood. Around 50 people have been detained after a search warrant was served in a vacant building on Hollywood Boulevard. KTLA's Christina Pascucci joins us now with the latest on police activity there. Christina, good morning.
Hi, Jess. Good morning to you. And from what we understand, LAPD was watching this building for months. We want to show you the building we're talking about right across the street here, this tall white one. And early this morning, LAPD stormed it. They went floor by floor going through. No one was supposed to be living here, but they found dozens of people inside, and we saw on video as they brought out more than 40. In the end, we're told more than 50 people were detained, taken out for questioning, and we're going to talk to one of them shortly. But they were serving a warrant here for narcotics and firearms, so they believed people would be armed. We don't have word on if anyone's been officially arrested, but we can tell you that we know many of them were ticketed, including Ramsey, who's here with us now, for trespassing is what your ticket's for. You were in there this morning when this all happened. Can you take us through what time it was and what you experienced?
I think it was about like maybe 3 a.m. when we first started hearing stuff. The helicopter was around the building, which most nights we hear them anyways, just because it's a really busy area and a lot of stuff happens around that block. But we heard them a lot, and then we looked out the window, and just out of nowhere, suddenly, like, my friend was like, "There's SWAT outside." And I was like, "What? There's SWAT?" And I go look out the window, and I look down, and me and like 5 SWAT officers just made eye contact, and I was like, "What is going on?" And we were all just sitting there for a little bit, and after a little while, we started hearing them talking through the microphone, and they were like yelling through the windows and saying, like, "If you're an illegal resident, you need to come out with your hands up. We have a search warrant." And I don't think anybody ended up going out at all, honestly. Most people in that building are like used to that stuff kind of happening, so they kind of just stayed to themselves and were like, we all just assumed that maybe one person did something wrong and they were just looking for a specific person. And it kind of died down like an hour later, and then it was super quiet. The helicopters were gone. There was still the big trucks that they said rescue on them, so we didn't know what they were doing or if it was like something serious. And it was maybe like an hour later, we hear like the copter come back, and they're like banging on the bottom door because it was locked and they're trying to get in. And we hear them like rolling stuff on the ground and like big bangs. And
it was quite dramatic.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And the interesting thing is, too, we have to wrap now. Thank you so much for sharing that. Really appreciate it. But Ramsey was sharing that a lot of them were in there making music. They didn't realize they were squatting. They would just walk in through that entrance right there where the black door is, thinking it was totally legal and fine. But this morning, a lot of them finding themselves again with tickets, orders to appear in court, and some of them possibly being officially arrested. But as soon as we have an update on those details, we will bring them to you. I'm Christina Pascucci reporting live from Hollywood. Also should tell you the street is officially now open again after several hours long of an investigation. I'll send it back to you.
Christina, thank you. We're also following some breaking news in Orange County where 3 burglary suspects fleeing from deputies were involved in a deadly crash. KTLA's Alina Abovian live in Santa Ana with the latest for us. Alina, good morning.
Frank, good morning. And all this tied to a burglary out of Tustin. Now 3 men in total involved in this incident. 1 died here this morning. 2 others taken to a local trauma center, and they are in critical condition. To give us the latest in the investigation, we have Corporal Anthony Britannia with Santa Ana Police. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
So give us the latest. What's happening here?
So right now we're wrapping up the scene. We've been working with the sheriff's, been working with Tustin on the various aspects of what occurred.
Walk us back to 11 o'clock last night when all this started.
So a very observant Orange County Sheriff's deputy is in the city of Tustin. He's driving by a 7-Eleven. He sees a suspect running to a blacked out car. That car leaves the scene. It's in the area of a 7-Eleven. He sees it leave at a high rate of speed, thinks potentially that some type of crime may have just occurred, tries to stop the car. That leads to a pursuit in excess of 100 miles an hour. He either terminates the pursuit or loses the vehicle. So nobody was following the vehicle when the collision occurred. They came westbound into our city. There's a large dip at this intersection. They lost control, went into that tree sideways, immediately killing the passenger in the front seat.
And 3 guys were in the car, and they were going very fast, about 100 miles per hour. Can you talk to us about the business that they hit last night?
So when we started looking inside the vehicle, there was a lot of new product in the car. So we backtracked with the sheriffs, with Tustin. They located a business in the city of Tustin on Main Street. It's a boutique. The window was smashed out to that business. There was product similar to what's here. Taken from that business, so there was a commercial burglary that did occur in the city of Tustin.
And getting these guys out of the car was a big challenge, correct?
Orange County Fire Authority brought out heavy rescue to extract the driver and rear passenger from the vehicle.
What can you tell us about the guys in the car?
What we know about them so far is they are from the city of LA. The vehicle's from the city of LA. So we're trying to figure out who they are. Who are they? Is this a group of individuals committing additional crimes? As people show up to businesses, we may find that they had committed additional crimes either in our city or the city of Tustin.
And this is pretty brazen. I mean, very easily that car could have ended up in that apartment complex.
Very easily. As you can see, when they hit the dip, they actually went into the opposite lanes of the road and then back over this hump. So they're lucky they didn't go airborne at the speed that it appears they were driving.
All right, thank you so much. That is the very latest, you guys. Again, 1 person pronounced dead here last night, 2 others in critical condition. We'll send it back to you.
Alina, thank you. A chaotic scene at a Kaiser hospital in Downey after reports of an active shooter triggered a massive police response.
Oh my God.
Started yesterday around 11:30 a.m. A man later identified as Linwood resident Jesus Chavez is accused of creating a disturbance at the hospital. When security approached him, witnesses say he threw a chair through a window. Situation escalated from there, with Chavez allegedly pulling out a handgun and making threats. Police say Chavez was armed, but that no shots were fired. He's being held on $50,000 bail.
Developing news here on the East Coast, which is bracing for Hurricane Florence. More than 1 million people have been told to evacuate as the monster storm gains strength.
President Trump says his administration will be ready when Florence hits the Carolinas and Virginia in just a matter of days. KTLA's Eric Spellman live in the newsroom with more. Eric, good morning.
Morning, Jessica. Good morning, Frank. Forecasters are calling it the storm of a lifetime and a monster and the most intense hurricane to strike the region in 25 years. The latest projection has Florence making a left turn, and that means it's going to affect more people than previously thought. The National Hurricane Center, let me show you their latest tracking of this storm. They say that the storm has kind of changed where they think it's going to go. They say it's going to make a turn to the south after it makes landfall. They predict it'll slow down near the Carolina coast and then move into South Carolina. The people who run FEMA just gave a briefing a few minutes ago. They warned folks in the path of this thing, today may be the last good day to get out.
But I can say this, there will be disruptions in our services. The power will go off, infrastructure will be damaged, homes will be damaged or destroyed. So again, the time to act is now. We can rebuild that. The power will come back on, roads will be repaired, but we cannot repair loss of life.
Yeah, the pictures of this thing are just really amazing. Look at the eye wall there as it moves closer to the Carolinas. Forecasters say it's a Category 4 with winds of more than 140 miles an hour. It's pushing a storm surge 300 miles ahead of its eye, so it really is huge. And when it blows ashore later this week, it's expected to dump up to 2.5 feet of rain in some places. One computer model predicts some low-lying parts of North Carolina could end up 9 feet underwater.
This is historic. This storm is big and it's vicious.
Everything that you've been hearing about this storm in terms of its severity is all true. There's nothing to prevent this storm from continuing to intensify.
You have 5 million people who are under hurricane watches and warnings. To help them get out in South Carolina, look at what they did. They reversed traffic on the interstate. You can only go one way, and that is away from the coast. That created some lanes for people to get to safety. If you could find fuel, many gas stations were running out as far west as Raleigh, North Carolina. People were having trouble finding gasoline. People rushed to buy plywood so they could board up their windows. They emptied store shelves of supplies. One Walmart in Wilmington, North Carolina was picked clean. No water, no juices, no canned food at all. The storm could knock out power in some places for days or even weeks. Still, the question along the Carolina coast is, are you staying or are you going?
I am definitely leaving. It's going to be bad, no doubt, yes.
I'm definitely going. I was here through Bertha and Fran and several others, but this is not the same kind of storm.
I want to stay here and protect what I have and stay with my neighbors and help out if I can on the island.
All right, and listen to this. There are 16 nuclear power plants in the path of this hurricane. The plan is to shut them down 2 hours before the hurricane force winds arrive. Frank, Jessica?
All right, we will be watching what Florence does in the next couple of days. Eric, thank you. The California legislature has sent a bill to Governor Jerry Brown that addresses the threat of earthquakes. It will require cities and counties to create lists of buildings at risk of major damage or collapse. The bill does not provide funding. It would take effect only if state officials can find money for the project. Supporters say it would alert Californians if the buildings where they live and work should receive more study to determine whether they are at risk. Those opposed say this bill does not require any actual improvements to buildings and won't make cities safer. The bill exempts single-family homes and residential buildings with 4 units or less.
LA County Board of Supervisors has approved a new temporary rent control measure. The board voted 4-1 yesterday to enact the new rules. They apply to about 50,000 older apartments in unincorporated parts of the county. For those units, rental increases will be capped at 3% for the next 6 months. County leaders now have 2 months to draft a final rent control ordinance. That proposal expected to include new restrictions on evictions in addition to setting limits on rent increases.
The lights went out at LAX this morning. But it was all planned. The airport wanted to test the capabilities of its electrical backup generators, which are designed to respond to a major power outage. Crews cut the power to terminals 1, 2, and 3 about 1 o'clock this morning. Power was fully restored a short time later. The exercise didn't have an impact on operations at the airport, and everything is now back to normal.
7:14, very gray and dark outside.
Yeah, it is gloomy
It's that part of the time of the year, I guess.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling after we've been, hitting those hundreds for the whole month of July. It's been a little bit cooler here in September, but it was hot in July and August. Okay, getting right back, though, to the hurricane. There you can see this is a massive storm in strength and in size. Look how big it is. It is now a Category 4, 130-mile-an-hour winds with some of the gusts reaching up to 160 miles an hour. Projected path, here it goes. It should be making landfall late Friday night, or either way you want to look at it, early Saturday morning, our time. It's probably going to hit around 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And right now it looks like it's going to make a direct hit over Wilmington. It will be probably a 3 when it makes the hit, but it goes rapidly down to a 2 and down to a tropical storm as it continues. Now it's looking like it's going to make a pass right through Atlanta by the looks of things. So we're watching as this gets closer and closer. And as they're saying, this is a time to evacuate. No time to be sitting back saying, I'm going to ride this one out. No, it is powerful. It is going to hit, and it is going to cause a lot of damage. As far as the rainfall totals go, we're looking at some areas getting 12 inches plus, and there's a wide area of that. Storm surge could be anywhere from 6 to 12 feet also, and it is a slow-moving system. So you could be under hurricane conditions for a total of 24 hours if you're in the center of it. So it is not a good situation out there. Locally here, as Frank was saying, a little bit gray outside. Temperature 68. Winds are calm in downtown Los Angeles. You can see quite gray at the beaches, too. It's going to take a while before they clear out. Our high yesterday, 82. That's the average is 84, so we were running just below the average. 101 was the record set in 1983. Now, here we go with the forecast highs for this afternoon. Look at the valley temperatures. Everything pretty well in the 80s. Lancaster and Palmdale a little bit warmer at 91 degrees, but these temperatures even in the low 80s. Van Nuys at 85, Burbank 83 degrees. Woodland Hills a little bit warmer. They're checking in with a daytime high of 88 degrees. Now for the beaches, these numbers in the 70s, even inland in the 70s. Hollywood and Bell just making it into the 81 degree mark, but that's much cooler once again. That's about 3 to 4 degrees below normal. Orange County beaches ranging at about 74 degrees, inland low 80s, upper desert, or not upper desert, foothills of the mountains, Yorba Linda and Fullerton, 82 to 84 degrees. And then when you go to the Inland Empire, once again, a lot of 80s here, upper 80s. Hemet up to 90 degrees, and in the desert, Palm Springs, not really getting affected by the marine layer. They're still at 105 degrees. Mountain 7-day outlook, 72, 72. And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 76 and 75 degrees. Finally, high desert, your 7-day outlook. We go from 90 right back up to 93, but we're still going to hold in the low 90s for the remainder of the next 7 days. Let's go to Ginger in traffic.
Yeah, we really have a lot to talk about at this hour. In fact, we want to take you back over to Mark Kono in Sky 5 HD. And Mark, still the discussion about some things being closed here until maybe as late as 9:30 due to the police activity.
Boy, I tell you what, in our few minutes of being here, we have actually seen a lot more damage than we initially thought here. Where we are, guys, is going to be in Montclair. The eastbound side of the 10 freeway off and on ramps are both shut down for what appears to be a shooting that took place just about an hour ago. Now, right there at the top of the on-ramp to the eastbound 10, right there at Central, we have at least 3 vehicles that have damage to their windshields there. That Highlander, that Honda, and that darker colored Honda right there. If you look closely, what appear to be gunshots through the windshield here, but that's not it. If we move back towards the beginning of the on-ramp here, we also have a Montclair PD unit there that also has what appears to be a bullet hole in the windshield. Now, we don't know whether that bullet hole or whether that hole came from inside or outside the vehicle here, but there appears to be a area right next to that Montclair PD vehicle where someone may have been treated for injury. So that is still under investigation at this point. There is an additional car there. If you look on the passenger side at the bottom of the windshield there, that's got damage to it, as well as on Central Avenue, another car that is pulled over to the right here, and that car also has a couple of what look like bullet holes in the windshield as well. So this is an ongoing investigation here. The occupants of that vehicle are right there in the parking lot, and they are being interviewed by the Montclair PD right now. So again, this all happened just a little over an hour ago, right at about 6 o'clock, right here in Montclair. The eastbound side of the 10 off and on ramps are shut down for this shooting investigation. Northbound Central as you approach the 10 freeway is going to be shut down for 1 block beginning at Palo Verde. Ginger, let me send it back down to you.
Monte Vista to get yourself back on and off the freeways. The main lines do not look like they're going to be impacted by this. We'll move you to a different stretch of the 10 through the Covinas 10 westbound side at Vincent. They're talking about something that's sitting in lanes, and the good news is 210 freeway eastbound side at Irwindale Avenue. They've reopened up those lanes and canceled that signal. Very busy for us this morning. I'll send it back to you guys.
We're learning that Jessica and her husband are working on a book about how to keep the romance alive.
You know what?
It's fun.
It's a trap, you guys. They ask me to open up, and then I do a little, and
see, comes
I walk right into it. We forget our anniversary sometimes, and it is only
like
year
for
3.
5 minutes.
But
How do you forget your anniversary?
At least we both forgot
Forget
it
it,
together. That means we're
You're
meant
on
to
the
be.
same page. That's all good.
All right, we have many things to get to. Folks at Warner Brothers know their DC franchise has basically been a dud. Justice League terrible, Batman versus Superman even worse, and now Superman himself, Henry Cavill, is out. Henry may well have pulled the ripcord himself. Ben Affleck, unlikely to play Batman again. There's Henry, the beefcake there. Warner Brothers executives note that with the exception of Wonder Woman, the recent Warner Brothers DC movies have been duds, and they want to reboot the whole thing. All right, from that big story, here's a story that if you look underneath the surface has an answer you may not expect. A popular comic booked to hang with Jimmy Fallon last night, and suddenly Norm Macdonald was canceled. Norm has been on our lot for weeks, taping a new Netflix interview show set to drop at the end of this week. There it is, David Letterman there. Big press push for Norm. He's with Howard Stern this morning. Big interview with The Hollywood Reporter yesterday. Lots of remarks from Norm, and some of those remarks on video.
I feel bad that Roseanne got fired. I think that we have to be more forgiving of people. I've spoken to Roseanne many times, and she's always been in tears, and she's paying a mighty penance for whatever transgression you might think she did.
All right, Norm also expressed his opinion about certain elements of the Me Too movement. This is a quote from that interview with the reporter. I'm happy the Me Too movement has slowed down a little bit. It used to be 100 women can't be lying, and then it became 1 woman can't lie, and then it became I believe all women, and then you're like, what? He cited the example with Chris Hardwick. Like that Chris Hardwick guy, I really thought got the blunt end of the stick there. All right, then this from Norm Macdonald, which got an awful lot of attention. Well, Louis C.K. and Roseanne Barr are friends, are 2 people I know. And Roseanne was so broken up after her show's reboot was canceled that I got Louis to call her, even though Roseanne was very hard on Louis before that. But she was just so broken and just crying constantly. There are very few people who've gone through what they have, losing everything in a day. Of course, people will go, well, what about the victims? But you know what? The victims didn't have to go through that. All right, that's an opinion. And Twitter erupted, suggesting Louis C.K.'s victims are far worse off than Louis C.K. So guess what? A great opportunity for conversation. Jimmy Fallon could have easily said, hey, Norm, what do you mean by that remark in The Hollywood Reporter? You can't possibly equate the victim's pain to, say, Louis C.K. pain, can you? Real discussion, maybe fireworks. Instead, NBC, knowing that Jimmy Fallon either can't or won't ask a tough question, did this. Out of sensitivity to our audience, and in light of Norm Macdonald's comments in the press today, The Tonight Show has decided to cancel his appearance on Tuesday's telecast, which is just weak and lame. And, why don't you own up to it? Suddenly there's actually news surrounding Norm Macdonald, and we're afraid to talk about it. That's what you should have done. Macdonald himself, recognizing that maybe those remarks were weird. Roseanne and Louis have both been friends of mine for many years. They both made terrible mistakes, and I'd never defend their actions. If my words sounded like I was minimizing the pain that their victims feel to this day, I am deeply sorry. To Dancing with the Stars and the notion, we're going to do dancing, not Ellen? All right, to the notion we don't really know who the new cast members are. Are you familiar with the Witness Protection Program?
Yeah.
All right. It's like they're part of the Witness Protection Program. We will now explain what that is if you don't know.
Don't worry, Mrs. Simpson. We've helped hundreds of people in danger. We'll give you a new name, a new job, new identities.
You know what's weird is the town I grew up in, there was rumor that was the #1 city to be relocated if you were in the Witness relocation.
Really?
I also hear Big Bear is a good spot.
Well, good
things we know that may or may not be
so
true.
It's like if you meet people like I'm Debbie Johnson. It's like maybe
Who
not.
knows?
One of the contestants is the Bachelor contestant. And last night on The Bachelor in Paradise, grocery store Joe agreed, like he was ever going to say no to be in Dancing with the Stars.
Joe, I know some people, and I pulled some strings. I have procured you a spot on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, no. Yes, I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to dance.
We're offering you a spot on Dancing with the Stars next season so you guys can be together in the same city.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Okay, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, like what else was he going to do?
Who is Grocery Store Joe?
He was a contestant on The Bachelor.
And he's a celebrity now?
Yes.
Okay.
And are those two a couple that were sitting?
I guess so.
Oh, don't act like you don't know.
Yeah.
You watch every second of all these
I believe they
Bachelor
are a
shows.
couple. I don't watch every second.
Yeah.
Singer Tanisha is part of the cast as well. Here now, the rest of the list of the people who are going to be on, and you tell me if you can identify. The names will pop up, or maybe they won't. Ivana Lynch from Harry Potter, Nikki Glaser, the comic, we know her. Bobby Bones, a disc jockey. DeMarcus Ware, who Chris Schaubel insists I should know. John Schneider, we do know from
right.
Juan Pablo de Pace.
Oh, he was here not too long ago.
Was he?
He was a singer, very nice guy.
Okay.
On Fuller House, I think.
Milo Manheim, Alexis Wren, who's a model. Danielle Umstead, who is a skier or something.
Okay.
Nancy McKeon from Facts of Life.
Mm.
But I would say, and I think I say this every time, but I think it's more true this time than ever.
Yeah. Well, but sometimes they're sleeper seasons. They end up being really good.
Well, or you know what? Maybe they're researching the stories more.
Maybe.
Like maybe they have these amazing stories.
Could be.
New season of Dancing with the Stars, September 24th at 8 on ABC. But a lot of people must.
You know what this means?
What?
You could do it.
That's what
you
Lorraine.
Could
Lorraine,
It's right.
Lorraine
They've gotten
said
to the bottom of the list.
Lorraine said clear your Lorraine said clear your calendar.
2019.
They're clearly at the bottom of the list.
They're finally gotten to the
And
Dancing
you got
with People.
so much dancing video you can present to them.
Yeah.
I should make it just a concerted effort.
Yeah, make a demo reel.
campaign.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Let's have a look at what is going on. Quite gray out here locally. Temperature's going to be a little bit cooler. We're going to bottom out today and then warm up just to gradually by the time we reach the weekend. Los Angeles at the moment, 68, 43 in Big Bear, 68 in Palmdale, San Bernardino, 61 degrees. We have this low which is pulling down the trough. Onshore flow bringing in more of the cloud and the fog and the marine layer. It takes a little bit longer to clear out. Means our daytime highs are a little bit weaker. But what will happen by the time we get into the weekend, that high begins to build right back up. The low gets pushed back to the north, and we go back into the warmer temperatures. We're only talking about a couple of degrees this way and a couple of degrees that way. All right, 84 today. By Friday, back up to 84, 85 on Saturday. So there we're moving in downtown Los Angeles. We're moving the scales by 5 degrees. Inland Empire, 89. Unfortunately, goes right back up to 94 by Friday, 93 degrees on Saturday and Sunday. Orange County Inland, 82, 86. Friday, 88. Saturday and Sunday, 86 degrees. San Fernando Valley, 88. That goes up to 90 and then 94 degrees. So we do have a bit of a jump right there, up to 94 degrees on Monday, 95, and it holds on Tuesday at 92 degrees. That's it. Let's go to Ginger in traffic.
We'll get to her in a minute. Thank you, Mark.
Still ahead, we're live with a disturbing crime caught on camera by the suspect himself.
Where an alleged drunk driver live streams following a head-on crash that left a pregnant mother on life support.
And we'll have details after a deputy was involved in a chain reaction crash that sent several people to the hospital early this morning.
And from the ring to the White House, more on the former boxer who is seriously considering a run for president.
Well, good morning, everybody. We are off to a very busy start this morning to the commute. If you have plans to be on the 10 freeway, that's one of the tougher spots. In fact, Mark Hono is in Sky 5 HD. Looks like both sides are going to be tough.
Yeah, this particular stretch of West Covina is going to be a little bit tight on the 10 freeway, both east and westbound, right there at about Pacific and West Covina Parkway. We are going to focus, however, on the westbound side of the 10 freeway. Those are the cars going away. Unfortunately, it is slow as you come off the Kellogg Hill. So right about Villa Verde, all the way in towards what looks like the 605. The westbound 10 is going to be that typical slow spot, again, through West Covina in towards El Monte. Ginger?
I mean, look at that eastbound side. I don't think it's related to what's happening in Montclair. Let's take you over to look at that spot so you can see what the conditions are like as we've been talking about that fluid situation. So you see here, this is right at about Central. where everything is okay on the main lines. But the closure is right here, and that's because of that police activity with the shooting and a whole bunch of other stuff that they're investigating in this spot. And so we have the eastbound Central Avenue on and off ramps closed, as well as north lanes of Central at the 10 freeway shut down as well. There is some discussion this may go until about 9:30. We'll see, but those main lines remain open for now. We hope that will stay the case so that it will help with the flow of traffic on that stretch of the 10 freeway. We'll keep watching all of this for everyone, and I'll send it back to you guys.
Go to me. All right, good morning, everybody. 7:31, and once again, locally here, slightly below normal temperatures with those numbers in the valleys holding in the 80s. Same thing as the Inland Empire. We haven't been in the 80s for a long time, but that's going to warm up by the time we get into the weekend. Beaches 74, 80 downtown, 88 in the San Fernando Valley, 91 high deserts, 89 Inland Empire, Orange County Inland, 82 degrees. Frank, back to you.
A pregnant mother from San Jacinto will be taken off of life support after she sustained fatal injuries in a crash with a suspected drunk driver. It happened Sunday when the 29-year-old victim was driving in Hemet. KTLA's Lauren Lister in Moreno Valley with more for us. Lauren, good morning.
Frank, good morning. That suspect, according to inmate records, is scheduled to be in court this morning, booked on suspicion of vehicular manslaughter. That is a more serious charge than his original arrest because the victim, after she was rushed here to this hospital, did not make it. Her family was planning for a new baby. Now they are planning a funeral. Her husband telling us that 29-year-old Christine Kincaid, well, there is nothing more that doctors can do for her. She, a San Jacinto wife, supermarket manager, and mother of 4 children, ages 4 to 14, also 8 months pregnant when police say her minivan was hit head-on by an alleged drunk driver speeding the wrong way in a BMW in Hemet Sunday night. The Kincaid's unborn baby did not survive, and originally officials thought Christine would make it. But now, sadly, her husband says she is brain dead.
It's a pain that no one should endure. You shouldn't have to bury your children. You shouldn't have to bury your wife. My 11-year-old girl and my 8-year-old boy were coming here yesterday. They thought they had a baby sister here at the hospital, and they got the worst news of their life.
The suspected drunk driver is a well-known boxer, 28-year-old Marcos Forrestal from Burbank and originally from Cuba. After the crash, police confirmed they believe he live-streamed a video to show online viewers his wrecked car, calling it an accident. In the background, here's what police say was going on.
The minivan was partially on fire, and the female driver of the minivan was trapped inside the vehicle. Our officers were able to put out the fire, and shortly thereafter, fire personnel began arriving, and they began extracting the driver from the minivan.
The husband telling us his wife will donate her organs and then be taken off of life support. This as police are working with the district attorney to charge Forrestal in her death. We're following all of that. For now, that is the latest live in Moreno Valley. I'm Lauren Lister. I'll send it back to you.
Lauren, thank you. A deputy from the Orange County Sheriff's Station in Stanton was involved in a chain reaction crash overnight. The deputy waiting at a red light at the intersection of Gilbert Street and Cerritos Avenue when a car traveling at a high rate of speed rear-ended a car stopped behind the patrol car. The female deputy and 2 people in the middle car received minor injuries. The driver of the car that caused the crash transported to a local hospital in unknown condition. Investigators believe that driver fell asleep moments before the crash.
Former Vice President Joe Biden wants young Americans to better understand political issues ahead of the midterm vote in November.
These days, there's a lot of fluff and misinformation to distract us from the real issues. What do I mean by the real issues? Well, I'm talking about your health care, the ability to educate your children, the roads you drive on, safety from gun violence, everything that shapes our lives as Americans.
Today, he's launching an Instagram video series. The 10-part series is called Here's the Deal. Biden will try to explain issues like healthcare, jobs, education, and gun violence. He just created his Instagram account last week, but already has more than 1 million followers. The latest person to possibly enter the political ring is champion boxer Oscar De La Hoya. He says he's planning to run for president in 2020. De La Hoya yesterday confirmed growing rumors that he was preparing a bid. He says he actually started thinking about public office many years ago. If he does run, it would be under the Democratic ticket. However, his personal life would likely be scrutinized. De La Hoya has had well-publicized problems with drugs and alcohol. Well, this is a good week to learn all about electric cars.
KTLA's Gail Anderson continuing her coverage of National Drive Electric Week. She's live from Lakewood with the best electric cars for pet owners. Gail, good morning.
Yes, we're here at Adopt a Shop in Lakewood. Let us show you the logo that you need to dial in when it comes to National Drive Electric Week and information about locations throughout the state where there are activities. Now, it's about choices I'm learning from Brian Moody, not just alternative fuel vehicles, but the improvements in gasoline vehicles. This is one of them, the Honda Fit. Boy, this looks a lot different from when I first saw it.
Right, this is a small car. Honda has so many alternative fueled vehicles. Honda Accord Hybrid, the Clarity, hydrogen-powered cars.
Don't forget the Insight.
The Insight is also one we saw yesterday.
From you, yes.
Now, this is the Fit. This isn't an electric car, but it just goes to show how much variety there is within one manufacturer. And the reason we're showing this one is because this is a pet-friendly type of vehicle, and I'll show you why.
Okay.
When you open up the hatchback here, remember how we saw the Volvo and it lowers, right?
Yes.
You can lower the Volvo, or the Land Rover has the same feature. Not everyone can afford a car like that. This has a low, this is low for dogs, you know, in and out easy, and we also have some accessories that make living with your pet in the car a little bit easier. For example, those water bottles, the bottom comes off so you can share without, you know, spreading germs. They have these collapsible food and water bowls and harnesses, and even a first aid kit that you can get for your pet.
And again, this is the Honda Fit.
This is the Honda Fit, yes.
Now, sitting in the other vehicle you referenced, we have Donna Casamento with Leo. We're going to talk more with her about Adopt and Shop. Leo is available for adoption.
Yeah, Leo is a 6-year-old Chihuahua. He's got a little bit of a heart murmur, but he's just got so much love. He was giving us kisses like crazy just a moment ago. He's available here at Adopt and Shop in Lakewood.
All right, we're going to talk more about what they do and how they're a pet shop with a purpose. Again, we're talking about vehicles that are terrific for your pets, things to consider. Here's the information for Adopt a Shop. We're going to talk more with them about what they do here in Lakewood, as well as their Culver City location. Here's the information for Drive Electric Week, where you can get more details about activities that are happening. And we're talking with Brian Moody of Auto Trader. Everything we're talking about, if you can't write it down fast enough or record it fast enough, it's on the website autotrader.com. More next hour. We'll learn more about Leo and the kind of cars Leo likes. Next hour, back to you.
All right, Gail, thank you. Still ahead this morning, terrifying moments for a teen pilot.
Where she was forced to make an emergency landing and how she managed to walk away unharmed after losing one of her plane's wheels during takeoff.
And minutes away, he's the inspiration for the film Van Wilder with a new stand-up special on Netflix to tell you about. Bert Kreischer is here live.
And he doesn't wear a shirt. Cooler today, but a slight warm-up for the weekend. Mark's up next with a complete look at your forecast. Halloween is the perfect time to celebrate all things spooky and dark.
Yeah, so if you're looking for something to get your heart racing with fear and excitement, you're in luck. We present to you Wendy Birch. She's live at Disneyland with a preview of this year's Halloween festivities.
That's scary.
Hi, Wendy. Good morning.
Is this scary or what?
It's cute.
I'm part of the floor show. It's like a dream come true. Ladies and gentlemen, Disneyland has transformed. How are you?
Good.
It is a Halloween festival going on right now. I tell you, this is very cool. We're by Paradise Pier, and this is where you will run into, I like to call it Coco Land. Is that okay, Tracy? Can I call it Coco Land for the period of this special time at Disneyland and California Adventure? Coco Land, yes, whatever you want. Will this be happening throughout the day, throughout the evening? Will I see this? Can I take the photo ops?
Yes, we do a show, a musical celebration of Coco, which celebrates all the great songs from the film.
Oh, and there were so many.
Yeah, 5 times a day. Here you can catch at the Paradise Gardens.
5 times a day, because I'm a little winded for just doing that one time for like 30 seconds. So I give it up to these women. They're fantastic.
Yeah, and then in the plaza itself, we have a beautiful memory wall where you can write a little note to your loved one.
I love that. I love that.
Celebrate Dia de los Muertos. So we're celebrating that. And the World of Coco exhibit and crafts. You can draw a little
So many things to celebrate. You know, I was excited about the pumpkin spice churro, but now you've given me a whole new reason to come on over here.
Well, grab a pumpkin spice churro and come on over here, and then you can combine both.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Information on your screen, because if you didn't know, there's a place called Disneyland and California Adventure. It's in Anaheim. And as we come back at her, I'll tell you that I think I might have found my new job. What's
Look
the
at that.
Go, way
Look
to
at
go.
that.
Look at those pants.
Very
The
nice.
whole
Yeah.
getup is great.
There you go.
That's her go-to move right
It's her
there.
go-to move.
Yeah.
And yours too, apparently.
All right, back to some more serious stuff. We're talking about rainfall totals, which you're going to get from Hurricane Florence along the coast here. Now, anything in the blue is 25 inches plus. They are talking about Wilmington possibly getting 39 inches and Jacksonville getting 38 inches. Oh, I'm sorry, 29, and Jacksonville 28 inches of rain. And as you go further inland and you spread out, you can see some areas 6, 10 inches, 12 inches. But look at the vast area, Knoxville, all the way up in through Raleigh and even further down in Albany right here, and Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston. These areas are all going to get hit hard. As far as the hurricane force winds go, let me just check my notes here. Hurricane force winds extend out 60 miles from the center, and tropical storm winds hit out about 175 miles an hour, 175 miles from the center, which will be making landfall right there. So big, large, powerful storm overall, and it's slow moving. Some areas could get up to 24 inches of hurricane force, 24 hours of hurricane force winds. Some cloud, fog, and haze, particularly at the beaches, but surrounding most of Southern California. 66 or 68 at Long Beach, 68 in Santa Ana, Riverside at 62, Palmdale checking in at about 68 degrees. The low's still hovering down, and it will start to push out the high. Then by the time we get into the weekend, the high will take over, and we will see some warmer temperatures. There's a low kind of coming in, stronger onshore flow winds, and then the high rebuilds by the time we get into Friday, and Saturday and Sunday we will have back to some warmer temperatures. Daytime highs for this afternoon, though, you got to admit they're pretty comfortable. Low to mid 80s all the way across the valley floor. A little bit warmer in Woodland Hills at 86, but look at this, we've even got 80. Upper desert area is 91 degrees, 83 degrees in Burbank. That's the coolest it's been in a long time, and these are the daytime highs. Right here for the beaches, we're looking at mainly 73, 74, 75, Hollywood 81, Bell 81. In Westchester, 74 degrees. And then your forecast highs for the Orange County beaches, 74. Inland just a touch, 82, 84 right here. Some of those temperatures have been hovering in the 90s for the last couple of weeks. Nope, we're back into the 80s. Same thing Inland Empire, mostly dotted with 80s, mid-upper 80s. Hemet a little bit warmer at 90 degrees. Desert's not getting affected by the marine layer. They're at 105. Big Bear with the daytime high today of 72 degrees. Los Angeles, 7-day forecast, 80. 81 degrees, and there's your warm-up over the weekend, 85 degrees. Inland Empire, finally, 89 degrees today. I'll take it, 92, and then that goes right back up to 94 and 93 degrees. That's it. Ginger in traffic.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to have kind of a warmer weekend. Why not, right? As you have plans to be outdoors, perhaps. Let's start you off with Mark Kono, who's in Sky 5 HD, and he's watching the roads with us. Mark.
Yeah, have a look at the 5 freeway coming through Burbank out of Sun Valley. The southbound side of the 5, that's the heavy side on the left. Unfortunately slow as you leave the 170 freeway all the way down towards the 134 and the LA Zoo. There were a couple of cars on the right shoulder just past Hollywood Way, and that's what we're looking at right there. But again, very slow from the 170 over towards Griffith Park. Ginger.
All right, Mark, thank you for a look at that. And of course, our team at Sky 5 was able to check out the situation, developing the fluid situation with police activity and the possibility of shots fired in the Montclair area. So we still have the 10 East on and off ramps from Central Avenue closed, all because of that activity. But the good thing you do see that those main lines are open. The other issue would be northbound side, of Central Avenue closed at the 10 freeway, and the possibility this could go until about 9:30 at least. That's something that we've been hearing from officers who are on scene. Let's move you over to look at that drive-through areas like Pico Rivera, Santa Fe Springs, out of Pico Rivera into Santa Fe Springs, 605 South at Telegraph Road. The type with 2 cars in the left lane. This is not a good ride. Neither is the 5 or the 710 freeways. Just very slow. Let's check the ride, guys. I'll send it back to you.
Bert Kreischer is here, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the thing. Bert, there's a lot of fame surrounding Bert. You were the inspiration for Van Wilder?
I'm not. Rolling Stone magazine wrote an article about me in 1997, calling me the #1 party animal in the country. I went to Florida State, yeah.
That says a lot. There's a lot of party animals out there, Bert.
You grew up in Florida, you should know.
Yeah.
You have no idea. See, like, we have common ground where things don't shock us the way they, growing up in Florida, I knew 2 dudes without tongues. Like, that's just Florida. One guy was tongueless Brett, and the other one's, and that was Florida. Getting struck by lightning, that happened all the time. Alligator attacks, all the time.
And they asked me, they go, does that really happen? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Eaten by
no one ever went skiing and was like, I fell. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Take your time. You were like, get me, gator.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida is a weird place. Yeah. Like, I had guns pulled on me all the time in Florida.
Sure.
Yeah, they don't have a waiting period. I think the waiting period is, and there you go, take it.
How do you like California?
I love it. I remember the first day I came out here, I went to, I was in Century City of all places, and I was like, I'm gonna live here forever. Like by the Takamimi building, you know? I'm like, this is gorgeous. Now I don't even like, I ran the LA Marathon, and you run past there, I was like, oh, I can't believe. Yeah, I ran the LA Marathon, no training.
Okay.
5
Just
hours.
rolled out of bed.
Just drank the night before,
No.
rolled out of, yes.
How many hours?
5 hours and 33 minutes.
Actually, that's not bad, right?
Oh, Mickey Mantle Jean, yeah. Yeah, killed it.
Did he kill? When did he kill you? Because I've always dreamed of doing that. I always thought I could just roll out of bed and do it.
Mile 22, you're on Sepulveda, taking a left onto San Vicente.
Right.
I don't even like driving on Sepulveda,
Yeah,
okay?
right.
I'm running on Sepulveda, and both my calves seize up, and the woman in front of me goes to the bathroom in her pants. And I'm like, that's why you train? Okay, that makes sense. People are falling off like zombies.
Right.
Everyone that ran the marathon knows people are like collapsing like, and then I just was like, this is where you separate yourself.
Wow.
And I started to walk.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Big Netflix special dropping this week. Now, Bert here has put his shirt on, but that is apparently
I
not
would
the
take
way.
it off in a heartbeat.
Right. I see. Why? Are you go if you want to.
Okay. Don't ask him twice.
Sound guy's like, grab your mic. Don't worry, this is my first rodeo.
Right. What? Do you feel more comfortable this way?
I feel a lot. It's odd. I feel skinnier this way.
Yeah, but you lost a lot of weight, you were saying.
I was in a weight loss competition with this big fat comedian, Tom Segura.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a tremendous guy. And when his breasts lost their integrity, you know when a guy loses weight, so it looks like a car driving down the street with his doors open when he takes his shirt off. Anyway, I lost 40 pounds in a month, did the LA Marathon, blew out my body, gained it back immediately.
Wow.
Yeah. If you're gonna do the LA Marathon, train a little bit.
Right.
And so then I did the Lake Estée triathlon recently.
Wow. Look at you.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, it's hard. I'm like an elite athlete in a competitive eater's body.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And watch this. As a VO, Dot Assad, as a VO, run some of Bert's special. So you do your stand-up without your shirt on.
Yeah. I'm more comfortable that way.
Now I see that you're married, Bert. What is,
oh yeah.
What does your
this
wife,
body does it every time.
What
I'm
does
married.
your wife think about you wanting to rip your clothes off everywhere you go?
Oh, my wife. I have a perfect body for a perimenopausal woman because they see it and they go,
maybe not.
He won't be around forever. We can still get life insurance. I'll get a second chance at this life. Write a book. Get a young boyfriend. Get that house I really want in the hills up in.
But she knew what she was getting into well before she, signed up for the program.
Oh yeah. I don't drink in private. Yeah. She saw me drinking and was like, okay, I'll take it.
Okay, but, to be fair, Bert's wife has her own podcast.
Does she?
I love the title of it. It's called Wife of the Party.
She's losing her mind right now, going, I'm on KTLA! I'm on KTLA! GD Turbo's like, they just mentioned your podcast! Valley Village is throbbing right now. I probably shouldn't say where I live.
Well,
too late.
Wife of the Party is a great name.
It's a great
Wife of the Party's
podcast.
great.
It's a great podcast. I got one too.
Sure.
I got one too.
All right, Bert Kreischer, the title is Secret Time. It's streaming on Netflix. Have you gone to the building yet? It's just across the way.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Right.
Oh yeah, they rolled out the red carpet. I got coffee and Kit Kats.
Right.
Nice.
Bert, it's nice to meet you this morning. Come back anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bert. Still ahead this morning, a former Dodgers All-Star and World Series champ is here live.
Steve Garvey here to talk Dodger baseball and to talk about a cause that is near and dear to his heart, why he's working passionately to promote blood cancer awareness.
Plus, it is a big day for Apple. Our Rich DeMuro live in Cupertino with what you can expect from their big reveal. A teenage pilot is being hailed for her steely nerves after she was forced to make an emergency landing on her first solo flight. 17-year-old Maggie Taraska, just taken off from her home airport in Beverly, Massachusetts. Someone on the ground radioed that she lost a wheel on her landing gear. The tower was able to get her flight instructor on the line. With his help, guided the single-engine plane back to the ground safely.
I realized, like, I'm all alone. There's no one that can take over for me and do it. I have to do it myself. You have to go back to the basics, and you just have to remember what you're doing and how you're gonna do it. Thought I was gonna flip, I didn't, so that was good. It was a little bumpy. I hit a few signs.
The high school senior has been flying for 3 years with over 60 hours of flight time. Maggie hopes to follow in both her parents' footsteps and attend the U.S. Air Force Academy.
Wow.
Yeah. Still ahead this morning, a store manager uses his own products to fight off thieves.
Where suspects tried to rob a pot shop and what he used to chase them away.
Plus, as a hurricane gets ready to bear down on the eastern seaboard, find out why the Trump administration took nearly $10 million from FEMA funds just weeks ago.
And a rare whale watcher's delight right off our coast.